design pattern. So basically singleton design pattern is saying to you key how you can restrict the users to not create a object of your class outside that particular class. So idea is very simple. I have a class. Let's assume that class is having very important resource and very high weighted resources, and I want that no one can create the object of that class outside. So my main intention is to restrict the user, but just consider one example. So I'm going to create a singleton and pattern here. So under this singleton design pattern, let's create one class with the name of anything like a class, and inside this a class I have one method void test method. So someone have to call this test method, and this test method is a non-static method. So they have to create an object of a class, but what I want, they should able to call my test method, but actually they didn't allow to create an object of my class. So how we can do this? This is important one. For that purpose, first of all, we need to think how we can provide the object of a user. So what singleton design pattern is saying, don't create an object of my class by yourself. You ask me, I will give an object from my class, and then with the help of that object you can call my method. So how we can do that? Before that, you must have to think to create a singleton design pattern. Inside your class there should be one private constructor. This is the first step. If you want to make singleton design pattern, then your class must hold one private constructor. And idea is very simple. Once you made a private constructor, then no one will be able to create a object of your class outside that class. Come to the SRC. Once again, let me create a manager class, and inside this manager class give main method and try to create an object of a class. Can you see here, you are not able to create an object because your constructor is a private, and since constructor is a private, so you know very well no one can use outside that class. So I'm not able to create a constructor of a class, I mean object of a class. Now question is coming, how we can call the test method of this a class. So singleton design pattern is saying to you, create one static instance like this way, a1 equal to null. Then after, create a static return type as a get instance method, like this way. What I'm doing, I'm creating one method with the name of get instance method, and that method will return the object of this a class. So here I'm checking if a1 is equal to null, then create a object of a class. And return the same object to the caller. Now whoever wants to call the test method of this a class, then first of all they need the object of this a class, and we have seen we can't call the we can't create object of a class outside this class. So what they have to do basically, first of all they have to call the get instance method. And this get instance method is one of the static method. So we don't require any object to call this getInstance method. So what this manager class will do first, it will call the a.getInstance method. And what this getInstance method is doing basically, it is creating an object of a class, and then after it is returning to the caller. So we got the a class object. Now you are ready to call this test method. This design pattern is a very simple one but very powerful. Many times you require it. So like this way you can see I am able to run the program and I am able to call the test method. So whenever you have a certain big resource, important resource like security related, like logger class related, I don't want to again and again instantiate my class object. So go for singleton design pattern. Singleton design pattern is not allow the user to create the object of your class outside that class. Inside this class, you can create your class object n number of times, no problem. But that not make any sense. But whoever is the outer class and they want to access their name members, then they have to first ask this getInstance method to get the object, and later they can call the all members of that particular class. So this is the singleton design pattern. Any question, Mr. Pawan?
Yeah, I mean, before like asking about this, just want to know, like, so these design patterns are something we follow for all the projects we do, or like what exactly?
Obviously, any project is following some design pattern based upon your requirement. So let's say someone is coming to you. I given you the vehicle example, right? During the interface, real-time example. I given you the vehicle example. One showroom people are coming and they're asking you the requirement. So whenever the real-time requirement is coming, then you have to think how we can construct the logic for this, and that is nothing but a design pattern. So obviously it's coming according to your requirement, and definitely every project is having some design pattern. Based upon that, the flow is happening in your project.
So but there's no way we can figure out seeing the project, right? What design pattern they have used, or do they define it somewhere? Because this is just the way you like framework.
So inside one project there might be a lots of design pattern. Design pattern is not based upon the project wise. It is based upon the requirement and based upon your module. Might be that one module is having the singleton. Under that you have another design pattern also. We have a lots of design pattern and there is no prediction. So if we talk about the Airtel companies or any online websites which is providing the transaction mechanism. So whenever the transaction is happening online, you have some third-party API, you need to give the PIN and all something, ATM card numbers or something. So that is following the proxy design pattern, because we need to actually following that. After that, you have some same stubs for all. Doesn't matter you are going for the DTH recharge or mobile recharge or something else. There we have a common option recharge. Then definitely they are using the factory design pattern internally. So it's completely it's not like that one project is having only one design pattern. All about the logic. For particular scenario we require something, then we are going for that particular design pattern. Okay? So it's not like that. Fine.
So for Java, yeah, so like whenever you do programs, so do you have to decide it upfront, or this is the work of the architects and all that they do?
Not exactly. This is the architecture will give you, probably they will give you the class diagram. They will give you diagram like this. So let's say talk about the factory design pattern now. So factory design pattern, how it will work. They will tell you this diagram probably you are having from the architect. So here just have a look. I have a three class: circle, square and rectangle. The common properties I need from these classes is draw. I want to draw a circle, I want to draw a square, or I want to draw a rectangle. So what you found here, draw is the complete common properties in every class, or you can say the area also. I want to get area of circle, square and rectangle. These are the three. So first of all we need to think just like a vehicle. Do you remember what I was doing? Vehicle was one of the interface and there is a 4 classes for that or 2 classes. Similarly I did this part here. Shape is my interface. Under that I have given one unimplemented method draw, and this all class have to implement this shape because everyone should have to follow the draw structure. So draw is now implemented in circle, square and rectangle. So this is one of the design pattern I have created for getting the draw of all this geometrical structure. Now here there is a shape factory. This factory class will ask you, now you have to tell me which class drawing you want. So here we will pass the name of the rectangle or name of my class, and that will create an object for me, and finally I will call this. So just have a look here. Factory design pattern. So now this is your requirement. Someone is saying I have a 3 class and I will give you input as a class name and I want to get the drawing of that particular geometrical structure. So you have to think I have to go for a design pattern, and that is nothing but a factory design pattern. So this is how the factory design pattern is. So first of all, I have created one shape as an interface, which is having one draw as an implemented method. Then as usual, circle, which is overriding this, rectangle, which is also overriding this, and everyone is writing their rectangle, circle as a SOP. And last one is a square, that is also overriding the shape interface. Now, under shape factory, as I told you, whoever will call this shape factory method, there is one method with the name of get shape method. So whoever will call this get shape method, it will return the one shape object. So the input is what types of object you want. So let's say first time you want the circle object. So what you are passing here? Circle. It will match, but shape type is a null. If it is a null, then it will return the null object to you because you didn't give in any input. But let's say you are given circle. So what I am doing here, I am checking the condition. Shape type equals ignore case circle. If you are saying yes, then it is returning you the new circle object. Similarly for rectangle, square, and if you have some more geometrical structure, you can follow the same structure. So let's say now under the factory pattern demo, first of all I have created the shape factory object. Why? Because our object is coming from this class. So now after creation of shape factory, I am calling the get shape and I am passing the circle object. So as I told you, it will come to the shape factory. Now this is matched with the circle, and what it is doing you? It is returning the object of circle class. So you got the circle object here. Under the polymorphism concept, same. Do you remember under the vehicle I told you, keep the argument always as a super type so that any class can use that. That's the reason I have given the return type of this as a interface type. Your interface is nothing but your shape. So that is the reason I have given return type as a shape. So any child class can create their object and they can return the object by this get shape method. So first time I am passing the circle, so it will return with the circle object. Second time passing the rectangle, so it will return with the rectangle object. And whenever I am getting a object of that particular class, I am calling the method for that particular class. So if you run this program, then can you see here inside circle draw method, inside rectangle draw method, inside square draw method. So this is the factory design pattern. Very simple, nothing is much. If you are more interested to know some more design pattern, idea is very simple. You will easily understand, only you have to understand the flow. So just follow any tutorial like Java T point is there, or tutorial points are there. They have a lots of design pattern. You can go accordingly and you try to understand it. Fine.
So now this factory design pattern, I'm still little confused. Like, so I mean, it's something similar to what we did in polymorphism, right?
Exactly. That was also one of the design pattern.
Oh, okay.
Polymorphism. What you did was one of the design pattern, and that was a factory design pattern. The only one step I have proceed here, I have created the shape factory. There from the main method itself, I was creating an object and I'm passing to the particular method, if you remember.
Yes.
That is the difference. I have created a separate here class with the name of shape factory.
So if someone suppose asks like what is factory design pattern, what do we have to say? I mean, we have to define this thing, or we have to say that we need to have a separate class which would call according to the object we pass or something.
This is the good structure actually. You have to create a separate class called factory and get
Okay.
object. This is the proper way to get the design pattern structure. Because in future it might be that you have some more classes, right? So here
Mm-hmm.
you have to proceed one more
Always you
else
can
thing.
keep adding.
So it's always good. Main method should not be disturbed here. You can think here itself. So it's good actually. So if you go to the
So,
Spring,
I mean,
hmm, tell me.
yeah, no, I was just asking, like, I just said, like, if you want to go through some more design patterns, we can check it in the tutorials. But you showed there are many, right? So we should know as and when we need it, or we should just theoretically know it and apply it whenever we need it.
See, if you're going to apply for interview for a 10 years of experience, then definitely they will ask you some of the design pattern structure. But most of them are popular like singleton design pattern, factory design pattern, abstract factory design pattern, composite design pattern. So these are the popular one. So try to have a look on that.
Oh,
But it's not necessary to know the all design pattern. No one is going to bother about that. Whenever the requirement is coming, your architect will suggest you which one is the best design pattern to use that. Sometimes we are going to use our customized design pattern also. So it's not
oh.
like that.
So whenever suppose you get a requirement and someone suggests you that okay we would use factory design pattern, so you go back and check, or like you have idea of everything and you just start implementing. I'm just
See, I
trying to
told you this
figure out if
diagram will
someone
tell you the
asks me.
story. This diagram will tell you the story. If someone will give you this class diagram, how it's working, then you have to think, no, which design pattern it is. See, basically we have this divided
Mhm.
the design pattern in three categories: structural, behavioral, and builder something in there. So there is three types of
Oh.
design pattern basically. Okay, so under the all design pattern we have a different design pattern, and this is known as
Mm-hmm.
gang of four GOF. See here, where is that types of design pattern? Yeah, creational, structural, and behavioral. So we have seen that is creational. Under structural also there is lots of design pattern. Under behavioral also there is lots of design pattern. So there is a categories of design pattern. Most probably we are following this structural. So I told you that payment kind of gateway you want to provide, then you have to go for a proxy that is
Mm-hmm.
coming under a structural. Lots of things are there. You go through this, you will get all things. And yeah, I was talking about now this day we don't prefer this types of structure. So whenever you are using the new keyword inside your program, then your project becomes tight coupled. Tight coupling project is not preferred because while unit testing, it is creating a lots of problems. And that is the reason we have now framework in Java. We are never going to create an object like this way in our Java program. In our Java layer, we have a Spring IOC module that is telling to me, don't create an object inside the Java program. Tell me what types of object you want. I will create an object for you. So if you follow the Spring IOC, then the main funda of Spring IOC module, that is the core module of the Spring framework, don't create an object internally like this way. I will create an object for you. So now this day we prefer the design pattern of frameworks in any application. But that is the advanced Java layer. So since you are in core Java, so you have to think like this way. Fine.
Okay, okay.
So
Mhm.
next topic is debugging. How to debug a program.
Yeah.
So debugging is nothing but it is just a flow how your program is flowing from where the control is going for which place. So let's say here I have one main method and inside this main method I have a I value. Okay? And
Mm-hmm.
at the same time let me create one void test method and I'm having an integer argument here and I'm going to print the I value like this way. make it as a static, and at this point try to call the I test method, and instead of void make it as a int. Now what I want is, whenever I am calling this test method, then what value of I is going to pass to this test method, and whenever this test method is returning with I value, then what actually it is returning to me. So this is my requirement, but if you run this program, you will get a output. Here is a 3 and here is a 7, but I am not very sure what is the input it is coming to this test method. So I just want to know at this particular point what is the I value and what I value is coming to this test method. So what you need to do is, you have to set a toggle point. For debugging purpose, first of all you have to set the toggle point. At which point you want the value for that particular variable, right click on that, and there is a toggle point. If you click on this toggle point, your cursor will be automatically stuck on this and you will be easily see the value for that. Like this way, if you want to set the toggle point for any stuff, you can double click also, this will set the toggle point. So what I'm going to do, I'm setting the toggle point for each line of my main method, and similarly in the test method also I have set the toggle point. So this toggle point is nothing but where your cursor is actually have to hold. Till now you will not allow the cursor to proceed further. Now if you run simply, it will give you the final output, what is the I values finally and what is the finally I is printed into test method. But in fact I don't want to know the final value, I want to know the value for this I on each step. That is the reason I have set the toggle point on each step. Now usually for running purpose we are using the Control F11 as a shortcut key, but this time you have to press simply F11, don't press Control plus F11. For debugging purpose we have a shortcut key F11. If you press F11, then automatically this pop-up window will come and it will ask you, you want to change your perspective into debugging, then you have to say yes. If you click on yes, then automatically your Eclipse will be in the debugging mode, and can you see here your cursor is came on the first toggle point where you have set. This green color button is saying I am waiting for your further response. And in this variable section you can see the I value is currently what? 0. Can you see?
0.
If I selected the I here, it is giving me I is a 0. Now F6, remember F6 is for proceeding next step. So if I press F6, then the normal flow will go. Now can you see, if I have pressed F6, automatically the I value has changed as a 1. Yes or no?
1.
Similarly proceed like this way, F6, now 2. Now you are very sure that at this particular time bring your cursor to this I. It will also give you the I value here. What is the I value passing to the test method? 3. Yes or no? So you have to bring your cursor here. Automatically it will give you the I value. Now one more interesting point I will tell you. Let's say you want to know what exactly this test method is returning. So select this test method like this way and press Ctrl Shift I. If you press Ctrl Shift I, then it will come to this test method, or you can press F6 also. So whenever the input came to this test method, the I was 3. Now still 3 is there, but if you press F6, then it will tell you your output is going for test method is 4, and you can still proceed further. F6. Yeah, so Now you can see here I is 3. After returning this I, again you are decrementing like this way, and finally you are getting the value. So this is the debugging stuff. You can start debugging based upon this F6 value. F8 is nothing but from one toggle point to another toggle point directly you want to jump, then press F8, and we always prefer F6 for moving, proceeding one by one. Try to understand once again. Press F11, or you can see here debugging mode also. If you click on this also, your debugging mode will be started. When you see here I have F6, I is now currently 1. F6, I becomes now 2. F6, I becomes now 3. F6,
Yeah.
I came to the test method now. Test method input was 3, and it has returned to you as a 4. Check it out. Whenever the test method has finished the execution, the new value to create the I value is 4. I minus minus, again F6, I becomes now 3 once again. Again F6, I becomes now 2. And like this way you can proceed further and you will get the final output. Okay? So this is
So
the debugging.
instead of going to that debug perspective, you were just saying no and you were getting the values.
So it's not like always we need to change that. We need to see normally what is happening in real time. We are getting an exception, and we are not knowing why exception is coming or what time our program is terminating. So we are getting the line number. So what we'll do, we will set the toggle point in that particular line number, and we'll come to know, okay, why this exception is coming, why null pointer exception is, why the object is not created. So you will later realize, oh, at this point of time, the object of this particular class is not created. That is the reason I'm getting null pointer exception. Okay? So this is the debugging. It will help you so much. So good for knowing.
Yeah, I mean, day for yesterday only I was doing something, and I was getting null pointer exception, and it took me, almost half an hour to figure out what.
Just a moment, Pawan. Hello.
Yeah.
Very good morning. हाँ ठीक है, आप बताओ कैसे हो सलमान? ओके नो प्रॉब्लम ठीक है, हम लोग कंटिन्यू करेंगे. अगर इवनिंग में मैं आ गया तो इवनिंग में, नहीं तो कल. ठीक है, ओके फाइन, देन इट्स ओके, विल कंटिन्यू इन इवनिंग. ओके चलो ठीक है सब, नो प्रॉब्लम, हैव अ गुड डे. हाँ समझ में आया? तो अब आप ट्राई करना डिफरेंट डिबगिंग पर टॉगल पॉइंट सेट करके, और अगर आपको पूरे टॉगल पॉइंट को हटाना है तो फिर से डबल क्लिक करना पड़ेगा, और यू कैन गो फॉर दिस रन एंड देयर इज वन ऑप्शन रिमूव ऑल टॉगल पॉइंट. सो यू कैन रिमूव लाइक दिस वे, ऑल टॉगल पॉइंट विल गो. ठीक है, दैट्स ऑल.